Welcome back. The Gauteng Basic Education Department is investigating the death of a learner from Oakdale Secondary School in Ennerdale, south of Johannesburg. It's reported that the learner was stabbed to death outside the school's premises by a learner from another school during a fight. It's believed the incident is linked to gangsterism in the area. Joining us now is Dr. Bandile Masuku, the Chairperson of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature Portfolio Committee on Community Safety, and the Gauteng Education MEC, Matome Chiloane, is also with us. Gentlemen, thank you for your time and for joining us. MEC, perhaps let's start with you. I believe you went on a visit at the school this morning. What were your findings concerning this incident?
Thank you again. Good afternoon to your viewers as well, and you. What has come to our attention when we were there is obviously it's linked with the challenges within the surrounding communities. The school mostly is inhabited by learners from different communities in and around Ennerdale, and for some, then those learners tend to form groupings within the schooling environment. But however, the most influence clearly comes from outside. Internally, the situation was controlled and quelled, and the school was able to demonstrate to myself that we did follow all processes to ensure that we resolved the matter. But however, beyond school, that's where the problems began. After school, outside the school premises.
Perhaps, Dr. Masuku, let's get you into the conversation. I mean, how concerning is this kind of an incident to the Portfolio Committee on Community Safety? I mean, what were your initial thoughts and reactions to this?
Good afternoon to your viewers and good afternoon to yourself. Thanks for having us on your show. It has been our big concern, beginning from when we started our term, in terms of how we maintain school safety in our schools across the province. And last year, we did a joint focused intervention study with the Portfolio Committee on Education, looking at the enforcement and implementation of the school safety regulations. But what we find out is what is the MEC has said, that most of the issues that emanate of crime emanate from the communities, particularly areas where schools were found in areas where there's gangs and also drug-related crime activity. That's where it also spills over into the schoolyard. And it's something that we are worried about. The preliminary findings from the FIS will be presented to the legislature. But what we found out in the sense is that the community does influence what happens in the schoolyard, and most of these issues emanate from the community.
I mean, MEC, with what Dr. Masuku is referring to currently, I mean, there are incidents of learner violence, particularly involving weapons. This is becoming more prevalent in Gauteng schools. Is this the case? And what factors do you believe, like you mentioned, some of the influences from the community contribute towards this trend?
Yeah. They're saying that it takes a village to raise a child. But the most important component of raising children, the parents. The parents have really left the issues of disciplining the children to the schools. And schools find themselves in a very difficult position because the role of schools is to educate. Now, with weapons, these weapons are taken from home. If a child lives at home with a knife, as a parent, you should ask what happened to the knife. And clearly, they are not coming forth with that. So with that, we have put different strategies to ensure that we do our best to prevent, depending on the risk of the school, which we did research, and I'm happy that Dr. Masuku there, he knows very well, as I greet him again. So that we are able to prevent, we do search and seizures, random search and seizures, but in such instances like schools like Oakdale, the searches must be every day. They leave us no choice but to search our children every day, and we don't want to turn our schools, because remember it's a balancing, and we don't want to turn a school into some military camp. A school is a school, it's a development center. and a child must develop, and you can't develop every day feeling as if they're being searched like they're criminals. So we try, but in such an instance, in situations like now, we find ourselves in a corner where we have to take drastic actions, put securities, we must search them every day. But parents must come on board, because these weapons come from somewhere, and most of these weapons come from home.
I mean, MEC, while we still have you there, you mentioned earlier on that, of course, this incident happened outside the school, but there's also been a lot of allegations, particularly at Oakdale High School, that there is a shortage of teachers at that school. How much of an influence does that play in incidences where we are seeing learners go rogue, some of them roaming around outside the school premises during school hours because of the issue of there being teacher shortages?
No, definitely. I want to agree with those who are saying that obviously if kids in school need to be supervised almost all the time. So if the kids are not supervised at some given point, they start doing other things. It gives them an opportunity for some ill discipline to take part. And that aspect of teacher shortages, I'm addressing it. There will be teacher beginning of every academic year. There's that 10 days where we tally our numbers so that we can see where do we need to add educators and where we don't need to add educators, or we need to extract educators. So that period in itself is what we've been dealing with. So in the school, the numbers exceeded, so we needed to deploy more educators, but it's going to be addressed urgently, as well as they've raised quite a number of issues of school furniture, which Monday furniture will be delivered, and also additional mobiles, this school was part of the school that we were intending to provide with additional classroom capacity.
Dr. Masuku, lastly with you, I mean, there have also been allegations. The MEC mentioned that it's gangsterism and rivalry, especially because there are children from other communities coming into Ennerdale to attend school there. With regards to social cohesion and the possibility of some of these conflicts being based on racial lines, what measures are currently in place to ensure the safety of learners and also just for our communities to be tolerant towards one another, especially across the racial lines?
Yeah, I think it's a basic problem that we're facing as a country, and one of the issues is that from the focus intervention study that we instituted, one of the findings is that when the community is not working together with the police and working together with the school, it becomes difficult to maintain discipline and support, the learning project. So one of the important aspects that we are going to do jointly with the Portfolio Committee on Basic Education and ourselves is to also be part of mobilizing the community to protect, the school project, the education project, and it's something that we need to do, and we need to do it effectively. Patrollers are one way of intervening, because they don't bring, the police side of things, but it's almost like communities patrolling, the area. Particularly the times where, school children and teachers are traveling to and from school. And those are issues that we need to raise. But social cohesion is a big question that we need to continue to work, together with everyone to build it across the country and in our province.